Please welcome Dave Krupinski.
So, is the mic on? Is the mic working? Can you hear me? Testing? How's that sound? Sound good? How's that? Good. Okay, so thank you, Bambi, and thanks for inviting me here today. As Bambi mentioned, I'm Dave Krupinski, CTO and co-founder of Care.com. As a CTO at Care.com, I manage the product group, the engineering group, production operations, reporting and analytics. And I grew that team literally from one person myself 7 years ago to about 150 people today, located in 6 different offices in 3 continents. And that growth has sort of mirrored the growth of Care.com. Care.com is a leading online marketplace for care services. That's child care, senior care, special needs care, tutoring, even pet care. We have 10.7 million members in 16 countries. And we make a care match. We facilitate a family finding a caregiver about once every 2 minutes. And my goal here today is to talk about our experience of going public, going from 0 to IPO in 7 years. And I'm going to try to condense this into 10 minutes and 5 important lessons. So I'll get started. The first lesson is about the market. What my co-founder, Zenobia Muchala, on the marketing side calls the dream. You've got to dream big if you're thinking about building a company to public company scale. For us at Care.com, the dream is about solving a universal need for families, which is providing access to high-quality care in an easy and reliable way, and providing services to caregivers to help them find jobs and manage their careers. Sure, a lot of great businesses have been built in the areas of entertainment and travel services, a lot of big online marketplaces, right? But from our perspective, nothing compares to the importance of finding the right caregiver. You know, if you make a bad decision about a restaurant, that pales in importance to making the bad decision about a caregiver. Finding care is an issue that keeps families awake at night. If you don't have a caregiver for your young child, you're not going to work the next day. It's not a terribly sexy business, but it solves a real problem for families. And at Care, we dream big. And we have the metrics to back up those dreams. You know, families with 2 children spend more on care than they do on any other household budgetary item, even more so than housing. In our target market, there are 42 million people, 42 million households. These are families with young children or with elderly adults, spending $243 billion a year on care. So even a small percentage take rate of this market is a significant multi-billion-dollar business. And when we went out on our early funding rounds, you know, we talked to a lot of investors. Some of them got our pitch, some of them didn't. Some of them were able to dream big with us, some of them weren't. Some of them said, oh, that's a cute little babysitting club that you're building. And we said, no, it's not. It's actually a worldwide global marketplace solving a key issue for families. And the investors that got that, they're the ones that stayed with us and continue to support us now as a public company. The next lesson, okay. The next lesson is about the product experience. You've got to disrupt the incumbent in the market. And you can't just be incrementally disruptive. You've got to be disruptive in an order of magnitude, a step function. And for us, it meant consolidating a very, very fragmented market and giving families transparency and choice, and ultimately giving them a sense of control when it comes to finding and managing care. About 2/3 of families with young children have both parents who are working, or they're single-parent households where that single parent is working. They don't have time to deal with the challenges of finding care. They want a solution that makes it easy and turnkey to find care. And that's what we did at Care.com. We presented an easy solution, provided great access to tools like online background checks, reference checks, social verification, and our mobile app helps parents find care wherever they are when they need it. And more than 50% of our users today use the mobile app. Not only does the product experience have to be disruptive, but so does the economic model. We didn't realize it at the time, but we were disrupting nanny agencies with an economic proposition that was 15 to 20 times less expensive than finding a caregiver by using an agency. Today, as we've consolidated both the supply side and the demand side, we're actually offering products and services to nanny agencies, but early on we disrupted their business and it was a great facilitator to our growth. Next is getting the model right. And this is really the hard question. There are lots of models out there for marketplaces, right? And you've probably, if you're thinking about an online marketplace business, considered a lot of these models. For us, the choice was pretty easy from the start. We saw that families, as I mentioned earlier, had a higher urgency of need, and they also had deeper pockets. So from the beginning, we started charging the family side of the marketplace, the demand side of the marketplace. As we've grown, we've also introduced different monetization models that focus on transaction-based services, even advertising and sponsorship. But as you're thinking about a model for an online marketplace, you need to consider a lot of things. You need to consider frequency of use, degree of consideration, the degree of loyalty that the demand side has to the supply side. You know, I advise a lot of young companies, and I hear a lot of these companies talk about being the Uber of X or the Airbnb of X. But before you choose one of those models, think about these things. Frequency of use, degree of consideration, and level of loyalty between the supply side and the demand side. Rely on your advisors and your investors to help you figure out the right model for your business. Next, be open to what makes your marketplace unique. You know, at Care.com, one of the things we stumbled across early on, that even though it's a two-sided marketplace with families and caregivers, one of the key points of leverage for us was that we were able to treat this marketplace as a one-sided marketplace from the perspective of marketing tactics. 85% of the members on the family side are female, 95% of the members on the caregiver side are female. That meant that the marketing tactics we used to attract families also attracted caregivers. It gave us a tremendous amount of leverage, and it's something that we sort of literally stumbled upon when we started to look at the data of how effective our marketing was. So although you have a thesis about your model and your product and your business, be open to things that come across that may be opportunistic, that you can really use to scale and gain leverage. And finally, if you're dreaming big, to tie this back to the first point, and your investors are there to support you as you're dreaming big, think about the ways you can leverage your platform to fit into that mission. And for us, that meant building businesses on top of our core platform, our core marketplace platform connecting families and caregivers. We extended our service horizontally, we vertically integrated, we extended geographically, and I'll just talk about a few of these examples. This is my favorite example. We extended our business model to also incorporate businesses. We had a two-sided marketplace with families and caregivers, but we realized that we could offer unique value to businesses in this space as well. They could market to the families, they could recruit from our caregivers, and that also enhanced the experience for both of those sides of the marketplaces. The families had more choice, the caregivers had more job opportunities, and for Care.com, it was an additional revenue stream. You know, we also saw that we had a platform of 4 million vetted caregivers in the United States, and we could leverage that platform to provide services to employers, to allow them to provide care as an HR benefit to their employees, addressing one of the key concerns for employers, which is employee absenteeism due to dealing with the care crisis. Again, these things aren't terribly sexy, but they solve real business problems for companies. And I'm pleased to say that a lot of companies out here in the Bay Area were real leaders with us and adopted this service very early on. And our mission is not only to provide services to help families find care, but also manage care. And that meant vertically integrating with payment service providers. Because one of the key aspects of managing a relationship between a family and a caregiver is managing the financial relationship. We acquired a company based in Austin, Texas called Breedlove & Associates that provides a payment platform that helps families manage payroll and taxes for household employees. Again, not terribly sexy, but great economics. And finally, we also expanded internationally. Through the acquisition of Berlin-based Betreut.de, which means care in German, we are now present in 16 countries and supporting 7 languages. So this is all part of our vision of scaling care to be a global marketplace, helping not only families find care, but also manage care. And if you don't have the right investors behind you from the start who are willing to go along for the ride and continue to support you, it's going to be really tough to scale your company to public company size. So just in closing, dream big, pick the right investors, execute like ninjas, be open to opportunities, and scale your platform to meet your dreams. Thank you.